From your experience then, what qualifications or prerequisites do you think consumers should be looking out for when they're going to engage with a registered builder?
If I personally wouldn't build again, but if I did, I would be doing absolute due diligence on all my contractors. Absolutely. I'd want written references from everybody. I would go through the disciplinary history on the VBA website to see if they've appeared before. I would be checking their past work. I would be wanting to go to site. I would be talking to their past clients, because being registered is no certainty of integrity, of quality, or deliverance of a workable product. You can have the best marketing, you can have the best website, you can think you're the best bloke in town, but you can still be a dodgy builder and you can still get away with it. And it's the fact that they can get away with it time and time again that leaves us with an industry that is so broken.
And let's make sure as well we make clear that it is dodgy builders here that we're referencing, not all builders in general. I don't believe this is a majority of builders at all. I believe this is a minority of builders, but I think that minority of builders who have caught you out in this case, it's the danger of them in the system is so high. I think the system needs a bit of overhaul or a lot more oversight in that regard.
Absolutely. And the good builders get pushed out because they can't compete with the ones that have undercut on every appliance. So it's very hard to compete against that when you're supplying proper and fit for purpose product. So very difficult.
And I believe if we can find a better system in Victoria, I think it's going to be a win-win for consumers and great builders as well, because I think you'll have great builders engaging with great consumers. I think there'll be a greater level of trust in the community, better outcomes. I really think it is a minority we're trying to sort the wheat from the chaff out here.
In some ways it is, and in some ways it isn't. We use the term here today as builders, when it's also building inspectors, it's also surveyors that have let us down. If they actually did their job, then you wouldn't actually get to the end and have a bad product. The footings would be correct, the framing would be correct, and it would be proper to offer a certificate of occupancy, right? Currently, if they don't do their job, the bad footings gets passed on to the bad frame and gets onto a certificate of occupancy that shouldn't be written. So my thoughts are to clean up the industry, that the certificate of occupancy should only be issued by the municipal council. It's all right that you have private building surveyors and inspectors doing the paperwork and the planning and the inspections, but the actual certificate of occupancy goes back to the council, where the council has a degree of immunity from industry, or what's the word?
I suppose the word you're looking for is independence, but I also believe that then that's probably fraught with new dangers where you're putting it through a pretty big bureaucracy itself. We've dealt with an excellent building surveyor, and I think we've been very lucky in that regard. So obviously it's not all of them, but again, I mean, there's obviously people in the system there that are letting the system down, and your example highlights that immensely.
That's right. And because the system is broken, these people never get taken out of the system. They just get a warning, or they get a reprimand, or they get a fine.
And that's the real issue.
That's the real issue.
It's when they've been found to be completely incompetent, like in your situation.
Or negligent.
Or completely negligent, they're not weeded out. And that's probably the crux of why I'd like to speak to you today.